Boop. Okay. Alrighty. Now today we get to start on chapter 5, and chapter 5, I believe I have some old pages that I can use. So first I'm going to pull this up, and uh yeah, yesterday, last night, I guess, um so I was asking Grok to help me create a prompt that would eventually help me find a way of getting more people, more viewers, and more retention. And so um, there should be some changes here soon. Like I'm gonna start doing thumbnails. I am gonna try to do something visual. I'm not sure if I'm just gonna do like I said before and like do some sketching and then record it and then like put it on the background. I'm not sure if I'll do it that way or not. But I still have some things to work out on the prompt, um, so look forward to that soon. Okay, so these are the pages, and I'm gonna actually have to find these pages. Um, I'm gonna have to find the right ones, and this is all the stuff that happens in the Grand Enchanted Landing Hotel while she's being held, and then in another chapter is the escape, the rescue and escape of the princess. But this is where they first meet the princess and whatever. And I have several things, rooms that I can copy over, and we'll have to see about. And this will probably have multiple titles, sort of like the school thing did. Uh, so this will actually be the first thing. This will be the thing that starts it off, and then the wine cellar, where she gets sent upstairs, and then so like I'll have these like in individual pages. We'll try two, I guess, two splits. I don't know, three splits. Do three splits. That's gonna be like four titles, 4 pages. Um, and this is actually a cutoff here in the sense that actually let me check the Princess Escape though first, because I need to see where this one goes and the other one, or where this one's. This is where this starts, where he gives the guards the illusion of a wagon there. Um, and then I have to also bring up the other. Actually, let's do it in the thing here, in the JSON, because sometimes it's easier for me to go through with the JSON and just open what I need to, and to check, so I can compare them and stuff. So chapter 5, Princess gets a room here, and then we'll go to the Princess Escape directly, so that see Princess's Great Escape, uh, and we'll do that, and we'll open that with text editor. Okay, so only giving the guards the illusion of the wagon. Now this, as they go into the kitchen, find a secret passage in the wine cellar. See, there's a little disconnect there, because there's something that happens that he's able to somehow. Oh, I think I know what the deal is. I guess I just didn't put the actual text correctly. Giving the guards the illusion, tries to conjure up a wagon with food, but only succeeds in giving the guards the illusion of the wagon. In other words, they think they're seeing a wagon with food there, so that still serves the purpose. for only having half of his magic, Hubert's going to be doing a lot of magicking here. Um, okay, so this helps him get into the kitchen before they actually start the rescue. Okay. This also makes me wonder something. If I should maybe it's, that's 5 and 8, right? It makes me wonder if I shouldn't. Let's see how many chapters. 6 and 7, right? 6 is Red Hot Riding Hood. 7 is Zanzibar the Great. Do I need to do both of those in there, or should I swap, say, chapter 7 and chapter 8? Well, let's see something here. 8 is The Prince's Great Escape. What about 9? 9 is Zanzibar Last Show. So it's partly there because I want there to be an in between there. Let's see what Red Riding Hood says. Um, because I might be able to move it down. In other words, um, um, the princess, then Zanzibar the Great, then the Princess's Great Escape, then Zanzibar's Last Show. Actually, no. Let's see something here. Zanzibar's Last Show. Uh, Wait a second. Let's see if I can think this through here. Um, Maybe we want some space in between Zanzibar the Great and Zanzibar's Last Show. How would that look? How would that look? Um, Red Hot Riding Hood. I could make Zanzibar the Great be. I mean, that's all right. We got Zanzibar the Great could be down here, and Red Hot Riding Hood could be 7, and then hmm, I guess I'll leave it like this. This is the way we'll do it. Anyways, okay, let's get back. Let's get back to the thing at hand here. Okay. So what I am going to do is, okay, we're gonna read through this first. So the princess was kidnapped for a reason. They decide to find her and rescue her if possible. Hebert contacts his old friend the Count and tells him to turn into a bat to see if he can find the princess. Okay, so that's a thing. That's a kind of a setup thing. Um, in the wine cellar of the Grand Enchanted Landing, the princess is struggling with the ropes, uh, tying her to a wine cask. With the help of some mice, she manages to get free of the ropes, binding her. The princess then tries to escape by getting into the dumbwaiter, only to be sent upstairs. After getting out of the hotel's dumbwaiter, the princess searches for a way out by checking out various doors. Uh, she stumbles upon a room with some maps and other documents, which she grabs but is recaptured. The cat comes back to SFC and tells John and Hubert what he's found. The princess is chained to a wine cask in the cellar of the Grand Enchanted Landing. Hubert and John take an empty wagon and head toward the hotel. Hubert and John go to the Grand Enchanted Landing Hotel, arrive at the side door with some guards in front. Hubert tries to conjure up a wagon with food, only succeeds in giving the guards the illusion of the wagon with food. Okay. So now I'm gonna have to find the uh, anything that pertains to these, and they might be in several pages, like sparsely populated, depending on how I interleave the character, the different scenes or whatever. So to do that, we're gonna have to do the traditional thing where I go ahead and open a new instance, and then I will go to older projects, to pull up the older project. A-doo-be-doo-be-doo. A-doo-be-doo-be-doo. Okay. Let's see something here. Random villages, sky, Wizard U. That's the unicorn stuff. Shaken lobster edge. In the wine cellar, the princess is struggling with ropes to tie her to a wine cask. Okay. So, interesting. I'll only be sitting upstairs. Okay. This does mean that a lot of the stuff I hadn't gotten to yet. So apparently, I haven't actually gotten to. I had. I don't know. I might have some extra notes or something. I'm not really sure. Um, but chicken. Count comes back. Okay, so this is actually. So I don't actually have. All right. Interesting. I might have to check my notes a little bit so I can see what's going on. Otherwise, I get to make all this stuff up myself. I mean, that's fine, right? I mean, that's the point here. Zanzibar, Princess Prep, Night School, Pool, Wizard U Trophy Room, Night School, John's Further Questions. Um, that's interesting. Random Villages. Okay, and that's more Zanzibar stuff. Oh, well, that's actually kind of interesting though. The Zanzibar stuff is there already. So I actually, oh, interesting. See, we're already past this stuff here, but Zanzibar, uh, yeah, interesting. So I don't actually have the breakdowns because I haven't got that far. That's another interesting thing. When it comes to Zanzibar, though, I will need to look at some of my old pages. But okay, so we're starting fresh here with chapter 5 with the princess. All right. So now I have to decide. Okay, how many places do I need? What places do I need to where do I split it, right? This so this is going to be part of the first page. Okay, this is going to be on the first page. This is probably going to be on the first page because it's like meanwhile in the wine cellar of the Grand Enchanted Lannion, uh, so we go directly to the princess. So I don't actually need a stop between those two, right? Um, Princess gets a room. Okay. Wine cellar, shuttling the ropes, the freer. She tries to escape by getting in the dumbwaiter, only to be sent upstairs. Grabs is recaptured. The count comes back. Hubert and John go to the Grand Enchanted Lannion and arrive at the side door. What gets me is I thought for sure I had some extra stuff there. It might be in the notes though. So let's actually let's close that. Let's open up the notes and see if I can't find. Um, let's see. Let's try wine cask. Find all 19 times. Settle some by fake imagining. It made me an offer I couldn't refuse. Apparently, Max likes to tie people to wine casks in wine cellars. Um, okay, the whole intel and tickets are an actual clue. It's just a place for the heroes to start their search. Okay, so we actually do have some notes here, at least. Um, they call up Hubert to a friend the count, and he turns into a bat to try to explore the hotel. He finds a woman and claims to be the princess in the princess's hotel room. There's something in there that lets us know it isn't her, and a clue to her whereabouts. Maybe you have to follow her down to the wine cellar. Maybe she likes wine a little too much. I did come up with some stuff here. It just apparently I hadn't got to actually implementing it into the actual game itself. So uh, maybe she likes wine a little too much. Because okay, so this is the first time I'm actually gonna go ahead and take and modify the existing the multiple pages there to actually kind of conform to this. Originally, see, yeah. So okay, that's interesting. I thought the thing is I don't find the pages here for doing that. It's not in the pages somehow. But I did actually have the notes, so I did have an idea of what I wanted, and so I'll probably be following that. We doth chicken righteously. Uh, okay. Hubert decides he needs to call an old friend. Finding the nearest magic mirror, he puts in a call, and what appears on the mirror is what looks like Dracula in a sort of goofy, lovable way. Hubert, how good of you to call. We haven't talked in ages. What's going on? Hubert then proceeded to tell him the whole story about the kidnapping, about Max coming back. Count, I need a favor. I need you to turn into a bat and explore the Grand Enchanted Landium for any signs of Princess Karen. Anything for you, my old friend. With that, the Count did indeed turn into a bat with a flash of smoke. He was off toward the hotel. Flying around the windows, he noticed that one's cracked open with a woman dressed in what appears to be royal garb. She starts to pull the dress over her head, but walks into the bathroom and closes the door before the Count can get a better look. Uh, yeah. uh, my intent wasn't any sort of like a dirty thing, like undressing and the Count's watching her or whatever. That's not the deal. The idea is that he flies and he can't really recognize her. He doesn't know if she's the princess or not. Um, with that, he flies into the room and looks around. He notices the princess' hotel tickets, but something doesn't seem right. This is cool. I actually come up with all this stuff, and I knew I did. But the thing here that's funny here is that I did somehow I didn't put it in the story, I guess, or in the steps or whatever. I mean, you'd think they'd be in the original. Let me let me check something here. There's a possibility, a scant possibility, that I did have the original. Okay, so old rooms. So the rooms.txt. This is an early one. Uh, let's search for count and find the princess. Okay. The count. Okay. Next. Richard searches for a way. She stumbles upon a room with some maps. Fair count report. I see. Count. Count comes back and says what he's found. It's interesting. So somehow this extra stuff did not end up in right because okay. So there's this whole thing, right? Now maybe it's strictly unnecessary. I don't know, but you can tell me. Anybody's watching this. I got three there, and two might even be myself. Although I'm not really sure because sometimes when I'm in there, uh, sometimes it shows up as zero. So I'm not really sure if it's counting me or not. It's just the restream count, anyways. But uh, okay. So what was I saying? Um, okay. The count. Um, new room list. Fine. Count. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, like I came up with this stuff. I wrote this stuff down. I guess maybe when I was going through the were you going through the characters? Maybe when I was looking at their plot outline, that maybe I decided to come up with more stuff or something. I don't know. It's like new stuff, and I like it, and so I don't know why it's not even ever in there. I don't get that. Escape from the wine cellar text. This is the actual escape though. Uh, I wonder what all's in here. Get out of the shackles, trapped in wine cellars. That's your situation. Uh, and this is about it actually escaping. So this has nothing to do with anything. Okay, so here, let me do the thing. Okay, so basically, what happens is they abduct the princess, right? And they have the tickets and everything. So they go to so okay, so basically, there's this woman that's filling in for the princess. Uh, kind of on purpose. They pay her to do it or whatever. She gets all the wine she wants or whatever, and then maybe this has to do with the uh, Karen getting out of the wine cellar. I mean, there's um. Let's look at the princess's escape. Let's see if where we at? Where's our rooms? Okay, let's open that. Reopen these with text editor here. Great escape. They go in the kitchen. They find a secret passage inside the wine cellar. Who's watching the princess with a heavy wine bottle? Try to walk out the side doors. The Black Knight rides up. I had a whole thing in here. Black Knight chases Hubert and company. And that's so weird too. What? Princess's escape. It's like I don't know. It's like I didn't do something or something. It's like I mean the notes are there. I don't remember why I did this way. Maybe I going through. Maybe I went through their character arcs and decided that I needed some more in there. Okay, let's read this. I'm gonna read this here. And I'm probably gonna incorporate some of this back in there. I'm gonna have to do it in like a limited way, just uh, because there's so much text here. Anyways, all right. He decides he needs to call a friend. Okay, Cat did indeed turn about, flash of smoke, flying around the wilderness. Knows she starts to pull a dress over her head, but walks into the bathroom and closes the door before the Count can get a better look. With that, he flies in the room, looks around, and he notices the princess' hotel tickets. Uh, but something doesn't seem right. I might do the thing where she's not pulling it off her head, because I don't want to do this kind of thing where you kind of get the idea. I was thinking that somebody's gonna start watching ladies through windows or whatever, and I don't, that's too dirty for my my game. Plus, it's unnecessary in the fact that I'm not actually making a joke or making a thing on purpose. In other words, there might be some movies or something where they're looking in to try to get the look up try to look at a girl when she's undressing or something, um, a woman when she's undressing, and then that might be part of the deal, and then she goes in the deal, and so it's sort of like they're they're not getting the gratification of seeing her when she went in there, and that's kind of part of the joke or whatever. Or sometimes in movies they don't do that at all. It's not meant to. It's not meant to be salacious uh, or titillating or you know tempting or anything like that. They just do it because they're acting like this is something that this woman would do in her own home when she doesn't think people are spying on her, and so she's getting ready to take a shower or something. They do that a lot in movies too, where um, you could say that they could totally avoid doing that at all, so that you wouldn't think about it, but they do it anyways, even though they're not intending any sexual thing or any joke or anything like that. It's just as a matter of fact, it so happens, right? So I might pull that. I might write it differently to where she goes into the room or she goes into the powder room, whatever it is. She goes into the restroom and just goes in there. I don't. She doesn't need to be undressing or anything like that. With that, flies in the room, looks around. When he goes back out to the window and hovers nearby. When she finally emerges from the bathroom, she has a robe on and is drying her hair with a towel. She goes to the mirror, and the Count recognizes it as another magic mirror. Uh, she taps it and it turns on, and another unknown woman appears, and they start to chat. So we're like learning some information about the bad guys through this here, and this is something I came up with, and something I should probably reincorporate back in the game. Like I said, I gotta be a little bit frugal about how much I put into the game here because this is supposed to be short stuff, and so the setup. Um, Now what I might do is I was going to. Okay, so let's go back to the game here. Um, See if you can find the princess, and then later on he comes back and talks about it. Well, you don't really see him doing anything there, and I would have just see if you can find the princess. Then we switch to the wine cellar, and the real princess is down there. But what I could do is I could have a split between here and here, and that is I could add a few decision points in here for the count, what the count finds out, right? Because I think count's gonna find out something here, um, and this is actually what's gonna lead him to go to the wine cellar, or to be able to go to the wine cellar and check it out. In fact, there's supposed to be a little hint in there because the lady likes too much wine, and so she like goes down there and stuff. So I might do a decision point in here with that. Um, then it leads to this. Okay, and then I have to look into how she escapes. They free her from the ropes, but then how she goes to be in the dumbwaiter and stuff. So yeah. All right. So let's maybe what I did was I wrote this thing in my notes. I had it all written out, and then when I went to convert it to like events, I tried to just to keep it to the events that happen, not all this extra stuff because you can do a lot with the story in here. So I intentionally left out some of the stuff, but I'm gonna have to put the stuff back in because it's important to the story. Okay, let's get back to the deal here. Okay, she goes to the mirror. The count recognizes another magic mirror. She taps it and turns on. Another unknown woman appears. They start to chat. Most of it is rumor or gossip. But then she starts talking about how some dark-haired sorcerer approached her and paid her to use the princess's room and pretend to be the princess. They don't think I know, but I've seen where they're keeping the real princess. She then pours herself a glass of wine from a bottle that seems to be almost empty. Uh, have you seen her? What does she look like? I don't know. I'm trying to do voices here, but I can't do women voices anyways. But she looks like an average girl. Honestly, don't know why they would want to keep her. In any case, I'm having fun. She she attempted to pour herself another glass, but nothing was in it. Oh dear, I drank all my wine. I need to go get some more. I'll talk to you later, Mabel. So apparently, the woman she's talking to is named Mabel, and that's one of her friends. With that, she left the room and then came back with another bottle. Not wanting to have to wait until she finished all of the new bottle, the count flew in, knocked the bottle over, causing all the wine to spill. Opoo. Opoo sounds cringy, but Opoo, now must go back down to get another bottle. She started to leave once again. So apparently she's got to be drunk because she's not really that concerned that a bat came in here and knocked the bottle of wine out of her hand, uh, or knocked the bottle over. She started to leave once again. This time the count followed her without being detected. When she entered the wine cellar, she went straight over to the giant cask, and the count couldn't help but notice what he assumed to be the princess chained up to a wine cask. Okay. Now, yeah, this one point I had her chained up, right? Um, now, okay, so there's a couple of things going on here. Um, so apparently she's got to be so drunk that she doesn't notice the bat, I guess. Maybe he's sneaking around. Maybe he's like behind the bottle, and the bottle's on the desk, and he accidentally knocks it out, and she doesn't even notice it. She just notices that the wine spills or something. So okay, so she's chained up, and part of the thing I was trying to decide was how does she get free of the chains? Uh, but I think later on I decided to use the mice, partly because it's in the Lime Oach in the wardrobe, so it's a little homage to that. But uh, and actually, apparently, at one point she talks to the mice and saying, if it were any other mice, they could do it in an instant, and all the stuff, kind of referring back to what happened in Lion the Woods in the wardrobe. It's supposed to be kind of a joke, really, but they actually do free her um, by biting through the ropes. They can't do that with a chain, metal chain, and so presumably, and I might have it down here. I'll look here in a second, but presumably, she was recaptured before the count got there. So before the count got there, um, and she's supposedly chained up. So if I go back here, uh, wine cellar, dumbwaiter, recaptured. The count comes back. Princess is chained to a wine cask. So this is kind of how I solve that, right? So in that case, then these two can be part of the same deal. The decision point isn't in here anyways. In here though, it's all about getting into the dumbwaiter, getting some documents, getting some information, uh, and is recaptured. And then just in time for the Count to actually come up to the window, see the fake princess, know that she's going downstairs to the wine cellar, looking at the wine cellar, seeing that the princess is down in the wine cellar, chained to a wine cask this time, whereas before it was ropes, right? And then going back to Hubert and John and telling them what's up, to where um, they attempt a rescue. Okay, so actually that makes a lot of sense. So because that one it was chain. I was like, how does she get out of her chain? How does she get out of the thing? Uh, Actually, you know what? How does she do that? That's a very good question. Let's see. Let's go back to chapter 8, and let's look at that. Go in the kitchen and find a secret passage in the wine cellar. Inside the wine cellar, John hits the guard who's watching the princess the heavy wine bottle. They go back upstairs to the kitchen. They try to walk up the side doors. Okay, I don't think I had anything about how they free her from the chains. So how do they free her from the chains? I don't even know if I even got any notes or anything for that. All right. Let's see something here. When she entered the wine cellar, she went straight over to the giant cask, and the count couldn't help but notice what he assumed to be the princess chained up to a wine cask. The count returned later to FFC to bring back the news. Well, boys, it looks like our beloved Princess Karen of Verdance is actually chained to a wine cask in the cellar of the. I was trying to do an accent, and then I don't know a Transylvanian accent. I can't really do that. I can't really do any accents because I'm really terrible. But anyways, well, boys, it looks like our beloved Princess Karen of Verdance is actually chained to a wine cask in the cellar of the Grand Enchanted Landian. I couldn't do much more than look as a bat, but as a man, I'm just as fit as the rest of you. Why don't we just bust in there and go and free her? Why don't we just here? Why don't we just bust in there and go and free her? Exclaimed Sean. They won't let anyone down there, so we have to be a little bit sneaky. We need to come up with a plan. Okay, after getting kidnapped, Princess Karen woke up tied to a giant wine cask in what appeared to be a standard wine cellar. Technically, the rope was tied to the cradle. There wasn't really any way of, as there wasn't a way of wrapping the giant cask. Originally, her people had a way to imbue non-magical people with magic, and that would not make sense given she could just use magic to help Hebert or extricate herself from a difficult situation. So in order not to be too powerful, and since she is a princess, they've actually kidnapped her to hold her for ransom later because her realm found out a way of purifying quicksilver to 85 to 90%, whereas people in the lands were only capable of about 70% purity. Okay, so looking around the dimly lit cellar, she noticed more giant casks and rows of cases full of wine bottles, as you would expect from a wine cellar. She tried the obvious first, trying to get free of the ropes, but they were too tight for her to find any purchase. So she tried the next thing, which was screaming for help. After a while, she got tired of screaming and just sat there to think. She noticed a hole in the wall opposite to herself. Soon, a couple of tiny eyes appeared in the hole. She started to talk to it. "Hello there." Uh, the eyes only continued to stare. "You can come out if you want. See, I'm all tied up. I can't hurt you." my poor attempted accents. I should try to learn how to do some accents, not even to necessarily be good, like I can do like voices or nothing, but just so that when I'm telling my story, I can do it in different voices, right? The eyes are like okay. Just then a nose poked out when another pair of eyes appeared inside. "Come on, I need someone to talk to." The one mouse was now almost completely out of the hole. "That's it. I won't hurt you." As it approached her, it cocked its head to one side. "Can you talk, or at least understand me?" "Of course I can talk. I'm a citizen of Enchanted Land, after all." "Oh, good. Do you think you could find a way to free me?" "I don't know about that. My mom always told me not to trust things many times larger than myself." "I wouldn't hurt you. In fact, I'm hurt right now. These ropes are chafing me somewhat fiercely. How do I know you won't gobble me up as soon as I free you?" "I am Princess Karen Elspeth from the realm of Verdance, which means I am royalty, and as such I do not lie. If I say I won't harm you, I won't harm you. Besides, I need to get out of here because they want to ransom me for a new way to process the Quicksilver which my people have developed. Otherwise, they might get rid of me. Still a little nervous, the mouse approaches cautiously and starts examining the rope around her hand. He then starts to nibble as she giggles. She giggles, saying, "That tickles," knowing it's a bit tough to chew through your backstop. "Nope, that's a little too hard for me." Uh, then she, thinking quickly, replies, "I thought you mice could chew through anything. I was talking to the mice in the castle, and they said they can chew through rope like nobody's business, and that everyone else are just amateurs." "They did they? Well, I'll show you." I could do like a munchkin. No. Just then, he squeaked a bit, and even more squeaks came from the hole in the wall, and soon there were tons of mice pouring out, so much so that Karen almost had no room to move. They were suddenly on the ropes and chewing through it in no time. When she was finally free, she picked up the mouse, initially talked to her and asked him, "What's your name, dear mouse?" "My name is Finley, at your service. And I bet I showed you who could chew the fastest." "That, Finley, is an understatement." She then kissed him on the cheek and put him back down. "Now I must go and see if I can get out of here." They all started waving goodbye and saying bye as they all filed back in the mouse hole until she was left by herself. Okay. Uh, this might have been the time when I was attempting to make like a walkthrough, like the princess's walkthrough or whatever. So that might be it. But I can use all this material because it's material. It's the story that I thought up. So making her way upstairs and looking out the window of the door, she notices a large kitchen, but currently the only one cook working in it. She tries the door while carefully keeping an eye on the cook, but the door is locked. Uh, yeah, okay. The door's locked. She then goes back downstairs and starts exploring the wine cellar, going past rows of wine bottles stacked on the multiple shelves. She makes her way to the back and she notices a few tables. One containing a cheese wheel with part of it cut, a knife sticking out of the cut wedge of cheese. Another containing a couple of wine glasses that looks like they've been recently drunk out of. Behind the tables on the walls, a dumbwaiter. Figuring there's no other way to get out, she hopes the dumbwaiter will be called up at some point. So she hides inside it, crouching because the area is small. So yeah, it's actually good because I do have a lot of this story down. Like I didn't solve everything, and I still have to come up with stuff on my own. But this is good because all this is going to somehow go into chapter 5 here. Well, this part is actually going to be part of chapter 8, but all of this is going to be in here, and it's going to inform the way I do it, the way I add decision points. So she hides inside it, crouching inside the area is small. Luckily, she's petite and is able to squat in the dumbwaiter without much trouble. She pulls a cloak around her, hoping that it will camouflage her from anyone peering in. After waiting for a few tense moments, she begins to hear faint humming and whirring sound as the dumbwaiter starts to ascend. After a moment, the dumbwaiter comes to a halt, and she overhears the cook arguing with someone else. "These modern villains don't know how to be polite. Always demand what they want, when they want it, without regards to anyone else's feelings. They have they have a lot of work. They have a lot of work to do. Let's see. They have a lot of work to do, and they need nourishment without a lot of backtop from the help." She begins, and I get apparently that's like a guard or something. She begins muttering to herself as sounds of tinkling glasses and plates and other sounds can be heard from the outside of the dumbwaiter as the cook prepares some food. Eventually, Cook opens the door part way as the princess hears another voice. "Hurry up, Cook! They need it now! Quit dragging your feet!" "All right, all right." She slides the tray in, not noticing the princess is there. But then takes a second look because it doesn't look right. After a moment, the cook isn't sure what she's looking at, and then shakes her head and closes the dumbwaiter door before the princess feels it start to move again. When it hits the second floor, someone opens the door, grabs the tray, apparently not noticing the dark green shadow in the back, and then slides the door closed. Karen waits for sounds of footsteps to fade out before she peeks out the door, and when the coast is clear, she climbs out and then into a hallway where apparently the guest rooms are located. She starts exploring to see if there's a way out, and then opens a door to a room where there are maps and charts on the walls, and a table with blueprints and other various papers. After examining, she notices the blueprints look to be for a giant machine, and one of the maps of the castle grounds and a large terrace where there's an X on the map. After examining the blueprint of the machine, she notices it says Omnigate official blueprint copy. Note. Okay, the Omnigate hints at opening portals to all realms. There should probably be some sort of technical notation to indicate how it works. and maybe the heroes find a way to get the plans. Maybe these plans are just a copy, so they can still continue to work. She actually does. She gets a copy of the blueprints, and she keeps them. She grabs the blueprint, stuffs it in her cloak, and then continues to rifle through a few more papers. After going through the papers, she grabs a bunch of important-looking ones and also stuffs them in her cloak, and then she leaves to continue to find a way out. Going down the hallway, she starts to go down the staircase that presumably leads to the lobby until she starts hearing voices and then starts going back up. She notices a hamper on the other side of the hallway and dives in. As she lifts the lid slightly and peeks out, she notices a squat, fat little man in green walking in front of two armored guards, and he seems to be carrying something in his fist. Just then, the two other guards come out of the hallway from the stairs, and the little man says, "Did you see the princess come down here?" "No, sir," said one of the guards. "I know she was here because she escaped from the wine cellar, and it was also reported that one of the blueprint copies and a few vital papers were taken from the operations room." I put operations ROM. Not the operations ROM, it's the operation room. The room. She must be here somewhere. You guys start searching the rooms, or I will check the staircase. Uh, I will check. It was done rather quickly, and the guards were back. Okay. I will check the staircase. End quotation. It was done rather quickly, and the guards were back. We didn't find anyone in any of the rooms. Well, she must still be here because you would have spotted her. And if she went out to the lobby or through the kitchen, she would have been spotted by the desk clerk and the cook. Okay, then. Just then, he held up his fist. "I have your little friend here, princess. Give yourself up if you don't want any harm to come to him." Karen recognized Finley, the mouse that helped her get out of the ropes. She slowly lifted the lid and got out. "Search her," instructs Barney to the guards. When the guard starts to get close, she says, "Surely a gentleman would never search a lady, not especially not royalty." The guard hesitates, and then Barney exclaims, "Oh, very well. Take her down to the cook. We'll have the cook search her." They march her down to the kitchen. I'll say they. Let me save this. They march her down to the kitchen and instructs the cook to search her for important papers. As the cook starts searching Karen, she whispers, "Hand me the papers. I'll get them back to you somehow." The princess whispers back, "In my sleeve." And then the cook produces the papers, hands them to Barty, and the guards march her back down to the wine cellar. Barty hands the papers to one of the other guards, who just happens to have been friendly to the cook. Barty says, "Make sure you put the papers back in the map room before leaving." Just before the guard leaves, the cook mentions, "I wonder if you would mind tasting this fresh batch of cookies." Gesturing to a plate on the counter with the fresh baked cookies. "Don't mind if I do," he says. She then takes the papers and he balks at first. He says, "I'll just put these over here," and she places them a little way beside some other papers. When he's done and compliments her, she hands him different papers before he realizes he doesn't have the real papers. The cook grabs a covered tray, heads down toward the cellar, and convinces the guard there that she's just going to feed the princess. When she's in close proximity, she hands the princess the papers. After the princess is done eating, they exchange glances, and the cook goes back up to the kitchen. Okay, a few minutes later, a woman that vaguely resembles the princess comes down the stairs and looks for some more wine. After finding a bottle she likes, she pulls out a corkscrew and pops the cork, and then she puts the corkscrew down on one of the tables and heads back upstairs. Little does anyone know that the count is lurking in the shadows, watching everything happen. So he actually followed her down to the wine cellar. Okay, and this is how he finds out. Okay, so I have all this. I have all this stuff done, actually written. The hard part is going to be uh, picking out just enough stuff that I need to kind of fill in this extra bit of story, while still adding decision points and still making sure that it doesn't balloon to more than say 30 or so pages. It can go up to 40 pages, like sort of like chapter 3 had this long thing where had the different schools or whatever. Chapter 5, or well, actually this is a part of chapter 8, but anyways, it's gonna well, no, the other part is part of chapter 5. But anyways, it's going to have several deals. So it could have up to 40. 40 is the max, is what I'd say, depending on the how much information I need to, how much story I need to present. Okay, so a few minutes later, a woman that vaguely resembles the princess comes down the stairs, looks for some more wine, find the bottles. Okay. When the count returns to FCC, the boys decide to make a plan. She's in the wine cellar chained to a wine cask. Both staircases are guarded. They're not accepting they're not accepting any new guests. I found out where the hotel tickets went. They have some poor girl pretending to be the princess. She spends her day gossiping and drinking herself to sleep. I think the cook is sympathetic toward the princess, and I must say she's quite fetching. Uh, yeah, there was gonna be I was thinking because he wants to find a mate. That's actually part of his character arc. That's part of his original plot line was finding a mate. Because they basically kind of hunted down all the vampires. And they did that because they kept maligning him. And vampires in Enchanted Lands are different than vampires in our like fiction, right? Our fictional vampires. They drink a wine made from this berry called the bloodberry because it looks like blood when it's crushed. So the wine actually looks like thick like blood, like almost like I don't know, like tomato puree or uh, what um, beets. Like if you pureed beets or something, right? It almost looks like blood. So there's this myth that there's this falsehood that these vampires drink blood. They're not drinking blood. They're drinking wine that looks like blood. Okay, and they do live a super long time, and yeah, I mean, there's several things. So vampires in my game, in my story, in my world are friendly and they're actually good. Anyways, although the count likes to tend to think that he's scary, and he tries to make his Bats in the Belfry motel very scary. Although he often fails at that. Okay, so they're not okay. Some blah blah blah. Hardly no one. The servants' entrance to the kitchen is also guarded. There's hardly no one in the rooms except for the fake princess, but I think they're using a couple of rooms as a base of operations. But let's focus on finding the princess. The first thing they did was get some suitable disguises for delivery drivers from the count that happened to have some lying around in the motel. They walked around the Grand Chandelier and went to the side door, and the two guards stopped them. I think I'll attempt a conjuring spell to conjure up a wagon laden with foodstuffs. Pulling out several hats from his bag, he put them in a particular order and put them on in a particular order, and he began to sparkle. After wiggling his fingers at the guards, he began to converse with them. Food delivery? With what? Then Hubert looked back. He noticed there's nothing there. John also looked and also saw nothing. Where is it? He whispered. Well, I have only half of my magic. Who knows how it's going to manifest? The guards looked back at them and said, sorry, you can leave now. But when the guards looked up, towering above them was a huge wagon pulled by a dragon. Uh, okay, where did that come from? Said one guard to another. I don't know, but I guess it's okay. We need to eat, don't we? I guess so. After opening the door, they came to the cook. I wasn't expect the cook cut off mid-sentence as John nodded toward the wine cellar. Yes, special delivery. We know the princess uh, likes her wine. Oh, of course, we can't let the princess go dry, now can we? This way, boys. As she led them down to the wine cellar door, one of the guards commented, we can't let you go in there. It's off limits, even to delivery. Well, yes, well, I guess they can put the wine in here while you guys go back out there and guard us. That is your job, isn't it? Yes, I guess so, but you mustn't let him let him near the cellar. All right, off with you. As they approached the cellar door, the cook mentions, they locked the door and wouldn't give me back the key. It's all right. We'll find a way in. Let's see another spell. This time to unlock the door. After putting on some different hats, he started to sparkle again, wiggled his fingers toward the door. Just then he heard a click and a whoosh as if air was being pushed out. When he looked over to the opposite wall to see a fine layer of dust around a simple broom closet. Aha! As he went over to it and pressed it on the back, it eventually found the latch, which opened the back of the closet to a small narrow hallway running to the length of the kitchen. As they followed it to the right, they came to some stairs and went down the stairs until it dead-ended, where they found another door with a slit in it at eye level. When they looked out, they noticed that someone that looked a bit similar to the princess, but a little tipsy, with a bottle in her hand. She had just popped the cork and laid the corkscrew down, as as she drunkenly meandered back towards the stairway. When she was gone, they opened the door into the little alcove with the tables and the cheese wheel and the empty wine glasses. Making their way towards the stairs, they stopped short of noticing the guard along with the princess. Let's see what kind of spell I can use on him. So far, your spells have backfired, but we've had luck on our side. Better not tempt fate. Besides, I think we could come up with a simpler solution. With that, John grabbed the heaviest bottle he could hold in one hand and sneaked up to the guard. Just when he was looking away, John clocked him over the head and he went down into a crumpled heap. The princess, recognizing Hubert and also somewhat recognizing John from the train before she blacked out, uh, well, she didn't really black out. She actually now she saw him when he entered the train. The idea is she's kind of up front and she looks back because everybody could tell that the portal was open, and so she saw him for a brief moment. When no, that's not how I worked it. Barty comes in and he does a few things. He puts a device on the wall. He sprinkles some like pixie dust kind of stuff on her, and she falls into a sleep. So presumably he's heaving her all over his shoulder, and she's still like slightly awake. So maybe she could see him. So I think that's why I said before she blacks out. Okay, so uh, the princess recognized. Okay, started to speak when John put his finger over his pursed lips as she looked up and then quieted down. I think I can help her get out of the shackles with another spell. Plus, this isn't dependent on ourselves, so I think we're safe. With that, a few more hats, he succeeded in opening one of the shackles while the other one was still wrapped around her wrist. Realizing they needed something to pick the lock, John ran back to the alcove and grabbed the knife and the corkscrew and set about to pick the lock. With some determination and some grunting, the shackle opened and she was free. Okay. As they made their way down to the secret passage, back to the kitchen, they gathered before the side door, only to realize the guards were still out there looking at the cart illusion. Wondering what they were going to do to get out, just then out of the sky came a bat, attacking the guards, quote unquote. As the guards started protecting themselves and swinging their swords, everyone inside the kitchen got out, including the cook. As they took off toward the Renaissance Fair, or Orthogon Alley if you want to be official, eventually the bat followed them, and just before entering into Scarborough for the chicken, the count turned back into a man. When the cook saw him, she seemed a bit impressed as the count just introduced himself charmingly to her. So at some point, uh, she was going to be his mate somehow. I don't remember exactly what I did, but later on I changed it. Karen actually helps him, and really by accident. She doesn't actually do it, but really by accident, one of the princesses that is being held captive happens to be from the realm of vampires. Kind of probably where the count originated from, presumably, and then went to Enchanted Lands and then decided to live there, kind of thing. Okay. Hello again, Hubert. I'm glad you're all right, Highness. Hello again, Hubert. I'm glad you're all right, Highness. And who is our fine young friend here? Hi, Highness. I'm just plain old John Thomas from Earth. I mean, I guess you call her Cerulia. So apparently somebody had told him what the name of maybe he told him originally. Thank you for the rescue, John Thomas. I am Princess Karen Elspeth from the realm of Ferdinand. Well, we all helped. Oh wait, I saw you on that flying train thing when that horrible little man put you over his shoulder and jumped out. Yes, that was the King of the Gnomes. And then turning to Hubert, our friend Max is back. Now, he had already concluded that he was back. That he was back just because of the stuff that I've already created, right? Okay. Yeah. Well, maybe I won't get that much done here in part one. I'll get more done in part two. But at least we're starting chapter 5. We'll get it done. We'll get it. Maybe it'll just take the rest of the week, and we'll get chapter 5 done by the end of Friday, hopefully. Okay. Uh, King of the Gnomes. Yes, I suspected something of that nature. It explains many things. She hands the papers she found to Hubert, who examines them for a bit. Okay, now let's see. Now I guess this is a restarting of of my deal here. So let's oh, this is actually a list of things here. Uh, see, Princess Preparatory Night School, Princess Prep, Hall of Fame paintings, Chicks of Fairy God College. Oh, this was an attempted walkthrough, I think. Okay, interesting. Plot outline revision 2. Princess. See here. Smoke giant. Princess manages to escape her ropes with the help of some mice. Tries to escape getting the dumbwaiter, forced upstairs. Stumbles upon a room with some maps and things. She grabs is recaptured. Ken comes back, tells John what he found. Okay, that. See, I mean that's kind of interesting. Okay, this is the thing that was attempted walkthrough, I think. Okay. Uh, okay, let's go down to the next. Escaper ropes. Recaptured. Uh, how it doesn't show you what number you're on. Manage to escape her ropes again. Manage to escape her ropes. Tap the wine castle scholar. Manage to escape her ropes. Manage to escape her ropes. Okay. Help some mice. Princess tries to escape. Okay, comes back. See, I don't got any of that extra stuff in here. Which is interesting. Okay. Wine cask. Change to a wine cask. Oh, okay. Now we're back at the beginning. All right. So, see, I didn't really waste time exactly. Basically, I was trying to figure out what information is where and what I needed to do and all that stuff. Okay. Um, okay, I'm going to modify this a little bit. In fact, I'm gonna do a little slightly different. I won't leave this as is. I'm gonna group them into places where the actual separate pages that I got to put in here, and then I'll just do kind of like what I normally do. So I'm gonna modify this a bit. This time, they made sure to chain and shackle her to said wine cask. Uh, Cradle. I guess that's the way you say it. Okay. Now, I guess I'll do this as a separate page. I don't know if it'll be a separate page. Like I'll fix it if it's not going to be. But we need this little extra information here, where the count. Um, so the count Approaches the Grand Enchanted Landian and then starts looking through windows, spotting someone that looks like they could be the princess, like it could be the princess. He waits until she goes into the bathroom. They count, then flies into the room and starts looking around. Let's see. It's a lot of words here. As the woman comes out of the bathroom, the count flies back out and hides. Okay. This is a lot of text too. I gotta see if I can make it more succinct when I'm done here. The count notices the woman seems a bit drunk. And talks to her friend via magic mirror. She claims someone hired her to impersonate the princess. But she doesn't mind because she gets let's see, let's make this shorter. By allowing her exclusive access to the wine cellar. Okay. Now this is where I'm probably going to put an action in here because I could just have it to where she runs out and so she has to go get another. Okay, actually let's go back. Let's go back to my notes here. Let's see. Bathroom. Probably don't have 2 times. Okay. Let's see. Notice the princess takes something doesn't seem right. Goes back. There's a mirror. Can't recognize another back's mirror. She taps it, turns on the women and rumor gossip. They they belong here in any case. Some haven't, but she's. Oh dear, I drank all my wine. I need to go back for some more. I'll talk to you later, Mary. With that, she left the room and came back with another bottle. Okay. So he actually ends up knocking the bottle over. I don't think I'm gonna do that. Um. Uh. Okay. So there's 2 things here. One is that I can just have her run out and she has to go run down and get another bottle. The other thing is I could make the count actually uh, actually be active here, basically. Um, all right. All right. Uh, Realizing, and this will actually turn into a decision point thing here. Realizing that her bottle is mostly full, the count sneaks in low and then gets under the desk or table or whatever I said it was. Uh, um, and then when she's turned away, she's turned away from the desk, he uh, he pushes the bottle over with his little wing. Okay. The woman uh, realizes that all of her wine is spilled and decides to head downstairs, uh, down to the wine cellar. The count follows along, keeping to the shadows and generally remaining invisible until uh, until the woman leaves again. When the count explores the wine cellar, he notes princess is tied up. It's chained up. Chained to a giant wine. Giant. Giant. And cask. Okay. Alright, that's actually a lot of text here. A lot of exposition, you might say. Look okay. Let's go ahead and clear that out. Let's go ahead and hit Control S. Let's go ahead and save room data. Clear that again. And now I need like 3 different paragraphs just to describe the thing that happens with the count and stuff. So I guess I should read through it and then I should decide where I can consolidate, where I can trim, that sort of thing. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's gonna be like 5 different spots, you might say. Okay, so this is gonna all actually be part of one here. Meanwhile, in the wine cellar of the Grand Enchanted, Chris is struggling with the ropes, tying her to a wine cask. of the hotel. Fire your wine cask. She managed to get free of the ropes. The princess then tries to escape by getting dumbwaiter in the only be sent upstairs. Okay, now I'm getting like sleepy and stuff. We're out of coffee. Of course, it's I got 13 minutes. I wonder how much I can get done in 13 minutes. Maybe not much, but we'll see here. And just give me a second. Uh, bomb. Just working on my game. Okay. This does seem kind of wordy. They decide to find her. Hubert contacts his old friend, the Count. Return to bat, find them, see if he can find the princess. Meanwhile, the wine cell, the Enchanted, the princess is struggling with the ropes, tying her to the wine cask. With some ice, she manages to get free of the ropes, binding her. The princess then tries to escape by getting into the dumbwaiter. Only be sent upstairs. Okay, so that's gonna be a spot where I'm gonna put a decision point. You know, let's just mark that. Add that in there. Um. Okay. Save room data. Okay. Um. Wait, checking the very storage, stumbles upon her own some maps of it. She grabs, captured. Okay, so these would be some decision points in here. And then she's recaptured. Huh. Hmm. Um, let's go ahead and then the Count approaches Grand Channel Landing and starts through the windows until she goes in the bathroom. The Count then flies in the room, starts looking around, flies back out and hides. Uh, seems a bit drunk. Talks to her friend. She claims someone hired her to impersonate the princess. Um, let's do something here. Let's separate this out and let's say that this is a thing. Okay. Save room data. Okay. So she tries to escape. She gets to Delaware. Captured. Okay, all that stuff happens. As they're doing that, the cat starts looking through the windows. Okay, so let's see. Hides. Okay, let's actually make this part of the same deal here. Uh, okay. Um, realizing that her bottle is mostly full. Okay. Um, I don't know if I'm doing this right because this is more like potential decision point locations, I guess. Um, woman realize count follows. Yes, the princess chained to a giant wine cask. I don't know what this bus is for, but it was there. Uh, okay, so that means that these are okay. Then this will be the last page, and this will be um. I guess this is kind of like where. Oop, I see. Okay. Control S. Save room data. Throw that out. Okay. Oh, hey, Rook. It looks like just like usual to you came in right at the end, right as I'm about ready to go to break. In fact, I was going to go a few minutes early just so I can come back right on time and stuff because um, I have a lot to think about here. So basically, what I did here is I took the chapter 5 text here and I kind of rewrote it slightly. Notice that these are all longer here. These dots are supposed to be sort of where decision points are going, so I'll have to figure that out. I have to figure out what to actually tell you, and then what works for a decision point in there. So this is going to have okay the first two pages, which are linear, but it's going to have one, two, three, and it's going to have three. See, that's not too many actual pages. A lot of events there because I got the way I got it written there, but um, so yeah, three decision areas. But anyways, I think that's all I'm gonna do for part one. So, Rook, sorry about that. Maybe you can join me in an hour when I get back. So, hey, everybody, I want to thank you for watching, listening, or just popping in. For you that just popped in, and I will see you in about an hour. So, thank you for that.